Bro, today we are doing another BO3 gameplay. So yeah, so I was thinking that I'm gonna start doing like a kind of like a story thing, like I did last time with my PS4 overheating. So while I'm doing this gameplay, I'm not doing this like I'm like talking while I play, so you don't think like the audio is like talking after recording it. Oh, this is not good. Hold up. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so the story is when I lost my iPod. Okay, so when I lost my iPod, I think it was like a couple years ago. Okay. So I love this thing. I still have it. I still use it. But so what happened was, I go over to my friend's house. Cause me and his mom, I don't like him a lot because he's one of those kids that you know are gonna grow up to do like drugs. I mean like hardcore drugs. And he has the exact same name as me. And he has kind of the same middle name. I mean, mine's Tyler, and his is Taylor. So yeah, it is free. I don't know why. It's just creepy. So what happened was I went over to say hi to his mom, obviously because I talked to his mom a lot. His mom is like strict, okay? So I go over his house, and I have my iPod in my hand. I have my iPod, my phone, my little iPhone 5, and so I put my iPod on my table and put my phone in my pocket. I like go and throw away my juice box because yeah, I drank juice boxes at the bus stop. They were usually my snack, but I did it. I drank them at the bus stop. So I went over there. I put my iPod on the table. I put my phone in my back pocket, and I had my book bag with me. And so when I went over there, I started talking to her. And we're in the house. Before I put my iPod on the table, we were in the house. We weren't in the house, but I walked up to the door of her car. I was like, "Hi." She asked me all these questions, like, "Did you see Steven with this kid?" I'm not gonna say his real name, but I'm gonna call him Jay. So he was like, "Did you see Steven with Jay?" I'm like, "No, I didn't see anyone. I do wrestling, okay." And so I get off the bus like late, like around 5:30. So she asked me, and after that she tells me to go wake him up. So I'm like, okay. So I have no reason why she asked me about the kid, so-called Jay. But I assume that maybe they did something wrong together, obviously as usual. Because the kid Jay used to be one of my friends until he ended up stealing a pair of shoes. I mean Jordans. I mean, I think they're like retro 7s, 6 or 7s. I forget what they were. They were blue. They were pretty nice. They're like brand new. And he stole them from a kid's locker. But that's gonna be a different story. So I'll go in there. He's already awake downstairs. So I put my iPod on the table, throw away my juice box, and right when I put my stuff down, he says, "Let's go." Okay. So I walk out the door. I forget my iPod on the table, and halfway till I get to the bus stop, I'm like, "Oh, dude, I forgot my iPod. I'm gonna run to your house." He's like, "Okay, I'll come with you." And so he comes with me. Look on the table. Guess what? It's not there. I mean, I looked everywhere around that table. I'm positive. And so I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, where's my iPod?" His brother was down there. We're gonna call him Carl. That kind of rhymes with his name in a way. But Carl, I think he's like 10. He was downstairs, like right next to the table, looking at me. He had no shirt on. He wasn't in his underwear, so he obviously had pockets. Cause he always has pockets. He doesn't like any pants with no pockets. So after that, I'm like, okay. I asked his mom, I was like, "Did you see my iPod?" She's like, "No, you didn't walk in with anything." I was like, sitting there kind of arguing with her, being like, "I know I bring it with me." And she's like, "Why didn't you see none but I see the juice box?" And I was like, Well, juice box was in the exact same hand as my iPod, and I kind of had my juice box over the iPod, so I guess she wouldn't really know. So after that, the bus is like right there, so I'm like, okay, so I'll come back after school. And I'm like worried. I'm like, oh my god, what happened if I didn't bring it to there? And I know I did, and I did after I found out. I didn't find out what happened, but I know what happened. So when I went there, I was during the school. I was worried, and everyone in my I forget which teacher it was, but I think it might have been my IEP teacher. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I lost my iPod at my friend's house, and his mom keeps denying it." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Okay, so do you want to call your mom?" I was like, "No." She's like, your mom's gonna find out anyway." I'm like, "Yeah, but she's gonna be like, I'm in middle school. I'm in 7th grade, so it's like, we can kind of care." She's like, I was like, "She's gonna be pissed off." She's like, "Well, you know, it's better. She's better let her know so she could take care of it and she could find it." So my mom, I call her. She's okay because she's like, I pay with my own money. I have money to go out and buy a new one, but I wasn't gonna do that because I knew it was out there, Alice. So after I lost it, my mom got to her phone, and when she told me what happened with her, she's like, I started screaming at the lady. And she was like, I was threatening her. She's like, not in a mean way, but like in a way, like, you know, if I want to go over there and check if it's there, my own self. And my mom technically thinks that she's kind of like threatening her. God, I can't even think straight. So after that, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. After that, you know, day's fine. You know, I'm like, I know it's there, so I'm just gonna go by there. They're gonna somehow magically find it. But no, I went up to say sorry for being rude and ask his mom if I can go back there and check one time. We walked to the house together, and guess what happens? This bitch, literally, I'm like saying sorry, and she's like, it's okay. And I walk in, and right when I went to walk in, she slammed the door, like right before I walked in, and almost hit me in the head. And I was like, okay. I tried knocking, and I heard her scream, just go away. Like, oh my God. Well, like, what, is she nuts? And so as it goes on, I go home, my mom's home, she's pissed. She starts yelling at me. And so yeah, so that's what happens for the rest of the week. And all of a sudden, my friend starts acting weird. You guys probably know where he's going. And I live in apartments, so there's like an office where where I do deal with bills and stuff. So this kid, Steven, I'm gonna say his name because he has the exact same name as me. So he's like this, dude, go check the office at in our apartments. I'm like, dude, I don't think it wouldn't be there if I left it at your house. He's like, maybe you dropped it when you were walking over. I'm like, if I dropped it, do you think a kid, either it doesn't matter, like a grown up or kid, wouldn't just pick it up and already freaking oh my God, wouldn't just pick it up and just keep it for himself? So I have a password, and I watch videos on people who literally didn't even have the password and was able to reset the whole entire whole phone. Like, it went on the computer, went on iTunes, went on iCloud, hooked up the phone to the computer, and just like erased it. So I'm like, I was like, she's like, oh, I know, just check that thing. I like the office, like, I know it's there. It's gotta be there. It's the only place. I deny it for a whole week. So I'm like, you know what, that's enough. Like, I started looking everywhere. I gave a kid $100. For really, my friend should have really got it, but until I started thinking about this. So I'm like, you know, screw it. You know, there's a chance it could be there. So I go there, okay, and I'm like, did you guys see like Ipod? She's like, what color? He's like, well, it has a case. He's like, okay, so we got one with a case. I was like, oh, it's blue and it's black. It's mostly black and some blue. She's like, Okay. She goes in the drawer. First thing I see is my iPod sitting right there. I'm like, before I even picked it up to see if it was charged, I'm like, do you know what the people look like? And she was like, the lady and this lady and this other boy kind of looks like you, kind of a little bit chubbier, but they don't want their names to be known, you know. Like okay, like, do you know? Can you tell me what they look like? And I'm like, she's like, no. I tried to convince her to let me know, like, you know, explain to me. So she's like, I'm like, you know, because I want to reward him. She's like, no. So I'm like, okay. I go home. I mean, I don't go running. I start sprinting. Wait, hold on. Before I start this, there might be a part 2 to this. But anyway, back to this. So after that, I go home. I mean sprinting. I mean, I was like sprinting home with a heavy ass backpack. And I'm like, oh my god. So after I do that, I'm tired. I call my mom, like, I found my iPod. She's like, where was it? She's like, I was like, at the office. But she's like, at school? I was like, no, at the apartment. She's like, how did it get there? It's like, I don't know. I think it might have been Steven and his mom. And she's like, well, they said they didn't find it. They couldn't find it. Like, was like, what happens if after you got off the phone with them, like maybe a week later, they found it and didn't want to be embarrassed and just returned it to the office and had Steven keep saying, we'll keep checking the office. So until this day, I still think that when they finally found it, maybe he or his brother Carl had it. She didn't want to be embarrassed, so they put it in the office. So that's what I think. So I guess there's not going to be a part 2. If you guys like this, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of these stories, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.